The Rams falling to the Chargers in the battle for LA 31-10. Baker 11 of 19, a buck 32, looking a bit more like what we've expected out of Baker Mayfield, the Brown and the Panther. There have been high points here with LA in limited action, but was not enough to get the job done here as Justin Herbert leads his team to double-digit wins, 10-6 on the season with one remaining and bettering the seed, if nothing else, here on Sunday. And with that, we say hello to CBS Sports NFL and draft analyst Ryan Wilson alongside the two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden. Guys, that being said, of all the games that had plenty in them, this was not one of them. Yes, LA playing for plenty in terms of seeding in the AFC playoffs, but let's just go broad strokes here. Ryan Wilson, what did you learn about the Chargers in this effort here on Sunday?
Hey, here's the thing, Joe and B-Mac. When the Chargers are healthy, they're a pretty good football team. They got Bosa back. They've had injuries up and down the roster throughout the course of the season. At times they've been without Mike Williams. They've been without Keenan Allen, Corey Linsley, and they're getting some of those playmakers back, and it's showing up on the field. And usually this time of year, we like to say the Chargers are charging, which is a not-so-nice way of saying they're finding ways to lose games they should win. They're not doing that. Not only are they in the playoffs, they qualified last week. So this game had just a sort of a, not necessarily a preseason feel to it, but they knew they could go out there, play loose, play with confidence, and they put a whooping on certainly an undermanned Rams team. So this is the way you want to go into the end of the regular season, heading towards the postseason. The only thing that might give you pause late in the game in the second half there, Justin Herbert took a hit and he took a moment to get up. That's a little concerning. Everything else, other than the fact they struggled at times to stop the Rams' run game, which was sort of perplexing, those are all positives. And by the way, you'll get Derwin James back as well, who missed this week with a concussion.
Over the last few weeks, guys, what I'm starting to witness with the Chargers, they're starting to learn how to win ball games, not just relying on their star quarterback in Justin Herbert. Remember last Monday night, it wasn't a Justin Herbert-like ball game, but defensively, they basically carried the team. In today's matchup against the Rams, Justin Herbert, pretty decent numbers, but they ran the football well. The running game was off and running, led by Austin Eckler. You look at what they were able to do on the defensive side without Derwin James, just suffocating the Rams. Clearly, that's what you would expect to see. But, you know, anytime you step on the football field in the National Football League, anything can happen regardless of who you're going against. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Chargers because oftentimes when they win ball games, they got to get in the shootout. They got to have 300-plus yards from their star quarterback, 3 or 4 passing touchdowns. Right now, they're learning to win basically in an ugly way. And I like that from the Chargers, especially as they get ready for postseason play.
B-Mac, I'm glad you mentioned Austin Eckler because he's sitting on 18 touchdowns, leads the league, and did not score a touchdown weeks 1 through 3. It's been an amazing stretch for Eckler. And so much of what we see right now in this league is quarterbacks and receivers dictating the success of offenses. No disrespect to the running backs across the league, but is Eckler the type of guy that you can design the offense for, hitch your wagon to, and see how far it takes you?
No question, Joe. He's a do-it-all type of running back, not just his ability to be a big-time contributor running the football, but think about what he means in the passing game. So when you have Austin Eckler involved offensively, it's very, very difficult to stop the Chargers. And another guy I would like to highlight as well, Joe, Ryan, outside of Austin Eckler, Mike Williams. Since he's returned to the lineup and becoming a healthy player for their offense, this offense is deadly. We know what they have when it comes to Keenan Allen, but now implementing Mike Williams into the ball game, into their strategy, now it opened things up for Jared Everett, Palmer, everyone else. So when they got those two guys, pass catchers healthy, clearly Justin Herbert is the better quarterback.
Ryan, as we take a look at the LA side here, you know, some teams are playing for seeding, some teams are trying to punch tickets, others already have their eyes on the process this offseason. It's going to be an interesting one to watch with no picks, no real cap space, and nothing but problems out in front of them when it comes to the quarterback conversation. What will Matthew Stafford be next season? Will he be next season? I want to talk a bit about Baker here. Has he done enough for you to garner a contract of some sort here, or do you see the Rams being a team that actively is shopping for a quarterback on the open market or in the draft?
It's funny you say that, Joe, because it feels like Matthew Stafford saw the writing on the wall after Baker's debut when he was on the roster for what felt like 2 hours and put up huge numbers in that nationally televised game. And Matthew Stafford came out and said he has no plans on retiring, which, again, getting ahead of the story. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out because, to your point, even if the Rams choose not to give Baker a deal, and Baker may want to be a starter, and he has every right to want that, given how things ended in Cleveland and Carolina, you'd like to think there's a little bit more meat left on that bone. But it could be a really crowded offseason in terms of free agent quarterbacks. Derek Carr somehow tops the list, which is humorous to think about on some levels. Baker, Geno Smith could be a free agent. He's on a one-year deal. Sam Darnold's playing pretty well as the guy who replaced Baker. Jimmy G is another guy who's out of the picture right now because he's injured, and Brock Purdy is balling out. And, of course, Zach Wilson might be looking for a team. So it could be a crowded field in terms of teams looking for quarterbacks. The draft is going to be interesting when it comes to quarterbacks in the first round. There are probably 3 or 4 guys going round 1. So I think Baker has certainly done enough for himself to merit an opportunity to start. I don't know if it will be in L.A. if Stafford is indeed planning on returning next year. I don't think there'll be a competition because Stafford will be your guy, but there'll be plenty of other teams in desperate need of quarterbacks, and that'll play out in the coming months for sure.
Well, Ryan, I got to disagree with you, my guy. I think Baker has done enough to be a backup quarterback. I think that's where he is right now in his professional career. I'm not saying that's where it will end. But moving forward in 2023, yes, he's done enough to be a backup quarterback. And if Matthew Stafford is returning, if I'm LA, if I'm the Rams, I would entertain bringing Baker Mayfield back in a backup-like role with backup-like money, because that's where he is in his career. He has to find a way to be more consistent to hopefully get another opportunity in the future to show that he can be a starting quarterback. But right now, when you look at what happened in Carolina or what did not happen, coming to LA in a very, very difficult situation, making the most out of that said situation, yes, I would love to see him go right back to LA and back up Matthew Stafford. But if Matthew Stafford is not there, hypothetically speaking, I don't think they should look to Baker Mayfield as their starting quarterback moving forward.
Well, being a backup quarterback is not the worst thing in the world, especially in this league, as is evidence year in and year out. Even if you're the backup, you're going to be the starter at some point. Gentlemen, great work on this one. Stay put. Plenty more to come throughout the hour. Taking a look at the fantasy impact coming out of this one. It's championship week. It's frenetic. It's the 4 o'clock window. There's 2 more games. You got a Sunday nighter and a Monday nighter, and it might be all done after this one. Justin Herbert, 20 points in this game. Austin Eckler, simply sensational once again, getting into the 30s in PPR scoring. Cam Akers, after a weird start to the season, was serviceable, if not more here down the stretch. He gets you 14. Mike Williams with a sticky one-handed catch. Good for 16 himself.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.